Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for The Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 334 for November the 25th, 2025, and I hope everybody is getting ready in the States anyways for Thanksgiving. We in Canada, of course, have already celebrated that back in October, so I know it's a biggie in the States, and I hope it's a good one for you this year because, we need to have a good time. Yeah, because the year hasn't been that great, has it? So, moving right along, what have I been working on? Well, let's just take a look here. Yes, I'm working on this Christmas quilt. I don't need another Christmas quilt by any stretch of the imagination, but I like this pattern, and this fabric I love. These greens and these reds, this came from a bundle of fabric that was sent to me, was gifted to me by one of my regular subscribers and a good friend, Julie Kuhn. And some of you know who Julie is because if you've been on our Wednesday Sew Days, Julie is usually here as well. Although she hasn't been lately because she's got a sort of a new job, but we see her when we can now. And she usually shows up for pop-up sew days as well. And we miss her on the Wednesdays, but she promises us that that's not going to happen forever, that she'll be back to her regular routine with us very soon. But these are absolutely lovely fabrics, and I wanted a pattern that would show them off. I also wanted a pattern that wasn't going to take me a long time to do, and this is a Chelsea Stratton one from a book she and her mother put out maybe 2 years ago that has all kinds of different holiday ideas in it, and this is the first pattern I have done from that book. And I love Chelsea Stratton's designs and instructions because they're always very, very well written, very clear. So now what you're seeing here is, you're probably thinking, well, it's kind of weird looking. Yeah, that's because there are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 12 blocks here. They're about 14.5 inches apiece, and they all look like the bottom row that you can see. Just for the sake of space on my design wall, which isn't all that big, I just had them overlap each other while I work on the sashing. And that's what I'm going to do probably later today, is get some of the sashing on it. And I would like to have this done by Christmas, but I don't think, I probably won't. I might have it done by Christmas. But it is the time of the year when we're all rushing to get Christmas gifts that we intended to start making in the summer. Yeah, where'd that go? And so now we're feeling the crunch. And the crunch can bring on a little bit of stress too, but don't stress out on it. There's nothing saying that you can't include a little gift certificate like idea in a package saying, you've got a quilt coming and I'll have it for you by such and such a date, in January. That takes the stress off and it gives some people something to look forward to as well. Okay, so that's one thing that I've been working on. Another thing was this. This was sort of a palette cleanser, and I love the way it turned out. I saw this. I think this is it was either Sweet Pea. Oh, no, it might have been an OESD. Yeah, I think it was an OESD in the hoop project. It is thread painting, but it's all done in the hoop, and you do 4 panels. And then you sew the panels together, and I backed it. And I sewed the panels together. Let's do this in the right order. Sewed the panels together. Then I put, as my batting in this, I used Battleizer. And if you're not familiar with Battleizer, it is a product made by the Hoop Sisters. I absolutely love it. It's a very dense type of batting, and it's great for table runners and placemats because they lay flat, or wall hangings in the case of this. Now, as I said, and then I put a backing on it, and you can see what the backing looks like. It's that blackish fabric that I used as my binding. I think it turned out beautifully. Everything lined up really well. I mean, you can see the tree branches across the panels, how they match up perfectly. Yeah, it's great. It took a while. I mean, each one of those panels, each one of those 4 panels took probably 3 hours to make, or a little less. So yes, and it uses a lot of thread. but that never bothers me. So, you know, if you can set some time aside, this would make a nice Christmas gift as well if you have an embroidery machine. And as I said, once you have each of the panels done, it goes together very, very quickly. And there's no need to do any additional quilting on it. To keep my layers together, all I did was stitch in the ditch in between the rows of the yellow frames that come together and all the way around the outside edge. And I use invisible thread when I do something like this, because if your stitching in the ditch kind of thing is a little off, and whose isn't, no one notices because the thread just melts right into the fabric. And I do the same with the binding as well. So yeah, this was a fun project. It hangs here in the room, and I don't think I'm going to put it away after Christmas. It's going to stay up, I think, all year round because I like it that much. And okay, so my bag. Haven't made a bag in a while. It didn't quite meet Walter's scrutiny. Well, too bad. He can go away. I had bought this panel. I bought two of them with this little dachshund on it back in the Netherlands. It's kind of a tapestry kind of thing. When we went to in Zwolle to the fabric market kind of thing that they have, you know, it's outdoor stands kind of a deal. And I bought these because I thought about our next door neighbors. Our next door neighbors have had, when they first moved in, they had Mia. Mia was a cute little dachshund, but Mia sadly has passed on. And they've got another little dachshund called Mocha, and it's the cutest little thing. And when I saw this looks very much like Mocha. So I brought those home with the intent to do what I have done here. And I also found this other fabric that says I love dachshunds on it in a graphic format. And I bought it at the same place. And so the other day I put the bag together. Now I had a few little problems. I don't follow it's a basic bag, okay? It is lined. It's lined with the same fabric you see on the bottom. The corners are boxed. They don't look like it the way it's hung up here, but they are. And I had some nylon webbing as well that I used for the handles in a color that went very well. I'm very pleased with it. Now, when I made the lining for the bag, I made the lining too big. Too big? No, how'd that work out? Well, it worked out that I needed to trim off a little bit on the sides of the outside bag in order to get everything to fit properly together. And I'd already cut my squares out for boxing the corners at that point. So I had to recut the bag down a little bit, and I recut the corners, and that did make the bottom of the bag a little smaller. Excuse me, but not by that much. And Walter's criticism was, oh, you should have made the bottom bigger. And I also didn't use any kind of stiffener and stabilizer in this to make the bag stand up on its own. Walter does that all the time. Walter's bags are beautiful. You know, you've seen them. So, yeah. But it's still good enough. It'll be fine. And I have some things I'm going to put in it, and we're having them over, the neighbors over, for Christmas drinks in another week or two. And I'll give it to them then. And I know they're going to love it because it's got a dachshund on it, and they love their little dachshund. So, yeah, that's fine. But anyways, I hadn't made a bag in quite some time. And I was surprised that I remembered how to do it for the most part. Now I've done this. I have another couple of panels from the same market that have cats on them. So I do want to make those eventually into a nice little bag too. And it isn't going to anybody. I just want to make it because I like the panels. And so it'll make a nice little bag. Okay, so I think that's all I've been working on. Yeah, it is. And so let's move on to announcements. So, Sewing with Stephen, as always, on Wednesdays, excuse me, at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. All are welcome. And, you know, that's an excellent opportunity. If you've still got gifts that you are frantically working on, why not spend the day with all of us? We're probably doing the same thing. And, you get a lot done. I find I get a lot done if I'm sewing with other individuals. And speaking of sewing with a lot of other individuals, I did have a pop-up sew day this past weekend. Was very well attended. I think there were a lot of people that decided they had things they had to get done, and we had a great day. Now, you're going to ask, when's the next pop-up sew day? Well, I do have a tentative date. In fact, I have not one, not two, but three events in the month of December into January that I've tentatively have planned. The first one is a pop-up sew day on December the 20th. That's a Saturday, of course. There will be information coming out about that the week before, but it's the usual routine. We might be having sort of a Christmassy style kind of pop-up sew day. I haven't decided yet, and I don't even know what that means. So, I will let you know as soon as I've got it figured out. And these dates are tentative, meaning I haven't got them written in stone yet, but they probably are pretty much accurate. So you can pencil them in. My throat's going. Christmas Eve social, I'm thinking. Now, we haven't done one of these in a while because the last couple of years we haven't been home for Christmas Eve and Christmas. We've been on the road to Georgia to the retreat we've been going to the last 2 years, but we're not going to that this year. And so we've spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in hotels in the States on the way down to Georgia. So this year we're home for Christmas. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing that we're home for Christmas, especially with everything I need to do since I'm having Christmas dinner, and you've heard me talk about that. But I'm thinking that we should have just a little couple of hours social event because I know there are a lot of people out there, and it's the nature of what the demographics are for sewing shows or for quilting. We're older people, and our families may be living far away and not coming home for Christmas. And sadly, we maybe find ourselves alone on Christmas Eve. And I think that's kind of sad. I'm lucky I have Walter. I'm not alone. And I do have family as well here. So I'm okay. But I know there's other people that aren't. And Christmas time can be, although it's a very joyous occasion, it can also be a very depressing time of the year for people. So the idea of a Christmas Eve social, it'll be done virtually through Zoom, is just getting together with a bunch. You can sew if you wish, but it's not a pop-up sew day kind of a thing. Bring along, your favorite Christmassy snack, maybe some Christmas cake, maybe some cookies, whatever floats your boat. Make it festive. Wear something festive if you wish to. I don't know if I'm going to have a Christmas shirt or not. Walter is talking about making us both Christmas shirts this year. So if he does do that, then yeah, we'll have that. And we're going to look at maybe some fun, comical Christmas videos, maybe play a couple of games and just talk and chat, find out where everybody's coming from. Maybe talk about some Christmas traditions that we have now or from the past or things, or just Christmas memories. Something that is lighthearted, something that is fun, something that makes people who are alone feel just a little bit more festive in the mood. So yeah, that will be on Christmas Eve. And again, information about all of that will come out about a week before. So stay tuned. And then I'm thinking New Year's Day might be a good day for a pop-up sew day, New Year's edition, because we don't go anywhere on New Year's Day. And I don't know if now some people may have family or something, on New Year's Day, but there's not a heck of a lot of things open, if anything, on New Year's Day. And you're probably already shopped out. So, with everything that's happening during the season. So why not have a pop-up sew day? So I think I probably will, and that will be January the 1st. So lots of things coming up. So if you missed the last pop-up sew day, you've got opportunities here for the next two. Okay, so Last week on So Chatty, we talked about color stress. Yes, there's lots of stress this time of the year. Do we need to have color stress when we're trying to pick out our fabrics for that last minute project that we might be working on? No, we do not. But I have seen many people standing in front of the bolts of fabric in a quilt store frozen because they don't know what colors to pick, and it doesn't have to be that hard. So we went through different tips and tricks and strategies for handling color stress. So if you haven't seen that, that's on So Chatty from this past Friday, whatever the date of past Friday was. I don't know what the date. What was the date of Friday? This is 20 minutes. That would be the 22nd, 21st. Yeah. So check it out. Okay, so that takes me to a subscriber's quilt of the week, and this lovely creation comes from a regular subscriber here, Jennifer Torney, and here's her beautiful creation. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Jennifer Torney, and Jennifer writes, "Thought this was a good choice since we had the snowfall this week. The pattern is Snowflake by Modern Handicraft. I chose to use a variety of red fabrics for a scrappy background. My long arm quilter, Slippery Needles Quilting in Pembroke, did matchstick in the snowflake and swirls in the background. She is very talented and reasonably priced. It is now my winter cuddle quilt. I used a red-white flannel polka dot on the background." Well, Jennifer, this is a beautiful quilt. It is in its simplicity. It's very modern, and yet it's really has a punch. That white on the red background and the red are different red squares. Very, very nice. And I am sure this will make a wonderful cuddle quilt as you have suggested. So thank you, Jennifer, for sending us a picture of your very beautiful creation. So I've been doing a lot of talking about getting those Christmas gift projects that you've been working on madly done. But, you know, maybe you're not making something for somebody, or well, maybe you are making something for somebody, is what I was going to say. I mean, instead you go out and buy something, but it's not as nice, is it? It's not as nice as making something for somebody you know who appreciates what you have made. Now, there are people who are not worthy of your talents. We all know those people, okay? But if you're looking for Christmas gifts to sew ideas, I found this particular series of videos that should help you out. So 'tis that time of year when you're probably thinking about Christmas gifts. In fact, you are probably a little late to be thinking about Christmas gifts if you intend to make something. But nevertheless, we're all looking for that perfect gift that we can give that we have made ourselves. So just go on YouTube. If you're having trouble figuring this out, go on YouTube and check out the videos about Christmas gifts. And I have put in the simple search term quilted Christmas gifts and came up with a whole page of lots and lots of videos. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever and a notepad or your iPhone and start making notes. I am sure there'll be something here that will spark some kind of idea. It may not be the exact thing, but it may have a spin-off if you think a little bit outside of the box and let these ideas be your impetus for creativity. So yeah, I've put the link for this particular search that I did in the show notes below, but you can do your own as well. And I am sure you're going to find something that is one of a kind and that you can make before Christmas as a gift. Now, to extend on that a little further, for future projects, maybe not this year, you might be getting too close for it, but maybe do some planning in advance, you know, after New Year, kind of plan your year out. Maybe instead of putting yourself through the stress of doing those projects at the last minute, he says, knowing that that's exactly what he is doing. I found this site called 43 Free Christmas Quilt Patterns, and it comes from American Patchwork and Quilting, and they have great patterns for both small projects like table runners, placemats, and larger ones, bed runners and quilts. So here's what I'm talking about. So for future projects, this isn't so much a future project of mine, but has the potential to be a future project for me and for you. And you're probably looking for patterns for making quick Christmas quilts that you may want to use as home decor or to give the family or friends. Although it might be a little late in the year to get started on something like this is a great reference guide for future projects for maybe next Christmas. But this comes from the American Patchwork and Quilting website, and they have 43 favorite Christmas quilt patterns. And these patterns are all free. And you can see there is a wide variety of styles and things to do, and they have links for the patterns as well. And they don't just have Christmas quilts, but they have table toppers, they have Christmas tree ornaments, they have table runners, they have lots of things on here as well. This is an excellent source for inspiration and for getting your hands on some free patterns, and we all like free. So check it out. It's the American Patchwork and Quilting website, 43 free Christmas quilt patterns, and I've put the link for this in the show notes. And so that takes me to what's twisting my seams, or this way, your seams. I should change the name of that to what's twisting your seams, because it's not all about me, as much as I think it is. So this submission comes from Marjan Gerart, and she talks all about why this was part of her What's Twisting Her Seams. This week's submission for What's Twisting My Seams comes from Marjan Gerart, and she shows us this panel that she made from, or this quilt that she was working on at one point anyways. I don't know if she ever finished it or not, with that panel. You know, the one, everybody saw this. This was all the rage a few years ago, this big flower panel. I forget what they called it. But anyways, she writes this about her creation. She loved both the color and the design, and she would likely buy it again as a quilt backing, as opposed to, I guess, putting it together as a quilt. She did make it into a quilt, and she was going to quilt it herself, and sometime later, I'm having a little trouble with the construction here of the sentences, but anyways, so she was going to quilt it herself, is what she says, and sometime later, she took it to a long armor for that, and the result turned out to be very nice. And I guess what she is probably saying is that she wasn't sure if this was going to work or not. So here is a Twisted Seams project that actually worked out for the better. So Marjan, I think this quilt is going to be, or is lovely. This is basically the pieces together that you have marked here. I would love to see what happened with it later after it was all completed and quilted and everything like that. So maybe you'd like to send that along to us in the future so we can all take a look at it. So thank you, Marjan, for this submission to What's Twisting My Seams. Now, if you're going through your stash as you're looking madly for that fabric that you know you bought 3 years ago for a Christmas project and never used, or any other kind of fabric that you think might fit into what's twisting your seams, then take one picture of it, send it to me, and answer these 3 questions. 1, what attracted you to this piece of fabric in the first place? 2, did you do anything with it? Or what did you think you were going to do with it? And 3, do you still love it as much as the day you bought it? Or is this something that you're debating whether or not it should just be passed on to someone else, or, do I dare say it, trashed? That's all you need to do. And I'll be happy to feature it here on one of the episodes of The Idiot Quilter. And please, I need some more because I'm starting to run out again. And that goes with any of your creations. One picture of those, a short little less than 50 words blurb about it, and send it on to me, and I'd be happy to feature it here on the channel. And again, I'm getting low on my stock, my back stock of projects to show. And if I don't have your projects to show, then you'll be forced to listen to me go on and on and on about mine. So there. Is that a threat? Could be. Okay, so speaking of projects and things like that, what have I been working on this week? Well, here you go. So the last week's been busy, as several weeks actually, as I get ready for Christmas. And of course, I've been working on Christmas gifts. So here is my Christmas gift stash. Those two boxes are full of Christmas gifts. All of this is Christmas gifts. This is a Christmas gift. And over here you can see I have all the bags done. Now I have to fill them. I do have a couple of table runners, and there's even a couple of quilt tops back there that need to be put here onto Lucy and get that all over with. I'm not sure when I'll get to that. But out here, I have a plan. Okay, now these guys are not going to be staying here for much longer. They're going outside. I made those on the 3D printer, as you know. But in this box down here are 9 curtain rods, heavy curtain rods that I want to get mounted onto these walls, take those picture frames down, take that big clock down, and this is going to become my quilt wall. At least that's my theory, and we'll see how that works out. Walter has to get working on that, and I'd like to have it done before Christmas. Right now, currently some of my quilts are on this quilt ladder. That needs to be reorganized. And over here you can see I have a stack of quilts on the ottoman as well. So yeah, that is why I need a quilt wall. Now, in here, what have I been working on right now? The 3D printers are silent, but they won't be for long. I've got some other plans for those. You can see that I have been working on, and come over here, I've already shown this to you, working on my Christmas quilt. That one's called Mistletoe, and it's by Chelsea Stratton. And I'm loving it, and it's not going to be a huge quilt, but that's okay. I'm hoping to get it done before Christmas Day so I can put it out on display. I have been working on a couple of other little things. Oh yeah, down here, this is a 3D printed Ferris wheel. I saw it, it's a Christmas one. I thought it's just kind of a cute little decoration, so I'm in the process of assembling that. Over here on my project table, you'll notice there's some new things. I made these boxes, or they're actually meant for file folders, and that's what they're holding right now. I mounted them on the wall. These are all my instructions for projects I want to do or I've completed. I did put this one here too, which is holding my little mini design boards. I may move that up on the wall, or maybe a little bit lower down the wall, so I can put another one of these file folder things on here to get a few things up out of this basket, because I'm trying to clean this area up a little bit so it's more manageable. And you can see I've got some things out of the way, but I have more here to, get organized as well. Of course, the whole room needs a thorough cleaning again. You get a lot of dust when you're quilting. And I can't think of anything else to show you right now that I've been working on. I'm always doing something though. And so that takes me to my weekly review of an online quilt shop. This one has a special place in my heart because I've actually been to the shop, the in-person shop, and I have ordered from them from their online as well. I love the selection. It's a great place, and whenever I get into the Stratford area, Stratford, Ontario, which is about 2 or so hours west of me, I take a look into or tuck into for an hour or two because it's a huge store, and it's called Ye Olde Fabric Shop. This week's online quilt store is called the Ye Olde Fabric Shop in Stratford, Ontario, and I have to admit I have been to this store several times over the years and absolutely love the in-store experience. And I have ordered from their website, but I see they've done some updating to it since the last time I was here. So let's take a look at it. So this is their front page, and they have a section right up here. It says check out what's new in the store, and they have some new arrivals listed here, new kits, Tilda, and Tilda kits. And then they have a list of categories: sale, fabric, kits, notions, patterns, books, gifts, block of the month, free digital patterns, and pre-cuts. And they have a little sidebar here that subdivides everything, which is nice. And at the very bottom of the page, we have their information as to their phone number and where they're located, and their email address and hours of operation. So let's pop up to the top. Let's go to Shop Online, and let's go into fabric. Okay, so we have new collections, flannels, Tilda, Fall and Halloween, Christmas, quilt backings, fireside, and then some designers as well. Okay, well, since we're in the season, let's jump into Christmas fabrics and see what they have to offer. And they have bundles and looks like lines. So let's see, cheer and merriment. Here we go. Prices are $20.98 Canadian a meter, and I do believe they sell in meters. Let's just check. And they do. So that's good. And the price, that's a fairly good price, given that fabric now is ranging anywhere from about $19 to $23 a meter. So they're kind of middle of the road, so that's okay. And what do they have to choose from? Not a lot yet in Christmas. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that, because that is just one of these. They have all of these as well. Christmas musical, Christmas Eve journey, Come Let's Adore Him. They have a fairly extensive selection of Christmas fabrics. Grinch, yeah, they have quite a bit to choose from here. So what about the regular fabric? Let's look for all categories. Okay, go back to fabric. And let's see. Halloween, Christmas, quilt backings, fireside. Okay, things are organized by theme or designer by the looks of things, but there's 333 pages of it, so there's got to be something here. Let's check out backgrounds and blenders. They have the usual candidates, canvas by Northcott. Let's just see what they're charging for that, because it is a staple. $14.98 a meter. That is pretty good. In fact, that's a very good price right now for that. So it looks to me like they have a wide selection of fabrics and at a fairly good price. Now, one thing we haven't checked out is their shipping. So let's see if they have a section under FAQ for shipping. Here it is. All are shipped via carrier at our discretion, they say. So it depends. I guess they pick, from the various ones. Rates, flat rate per order, varying by destination. And one-time offer. Spend $175, enter the code FO2025 at checkout and receive free shipping. Okay. So I guess you're not really going to know exactly what it's going to cost you until you have bought something and you plug in where it's going to. But knowing from the past, I found their shipping very reasonable. Okay, so let's drop back to Shop Online and see what else out. So they've got a sales section. We always like a sales section. And yeah, it looks like they've got about $5 off on these prints. $12.59, that was pretty good. $15.39, very good too. So sale prices are not bad at all. And they have 3 pages of things on sale, so there might be something there for you. Let's check out then classes. And they don't list any. Okay. Events. Best Little Shop Hop. That was in October. Anything else coming up? Something that we have passed already at the time of recording this. Great Quilting Adventure. So they do have things that they list there if you're in that area. They do have free patterns. Let's take a look at the selection. Oh, they have some interesting things. Most of them aren't to my taste, but they're free. So yeah, good wall of inspiration. And they have 5 pages of these. So that's a good selection of free patterns. Did they have pre-cuts? Let's see. Oh, there we go. Just about missed it. Okay, pre-cuts. There we are. They have 6 pages, it looks like, of pre-cuts, and they have layer cakes, charm packs, jelly rolls. And price-wise, they look about like standard pricing. And they seem to have not too bad of a selection, actually. I think there is something here. Let's go to the middle of the pages. Yeah, they've got a good selection of pre-cuts. And I know when you go into their store, they also do. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm impressed by that as well. Anything else? Well, they have an email sign up. Now, I have signed up for this, but I don't get emails from them. And I may have taken myself out of that, or they've changed something around and I'd have to do it again, but that's okay. I don't want a lot of stuff in my mailbox. Pattern updates. Okay, so this is a good section. So if there was a problem, they have it listed. That's good. I like to see that. Not because I like to see that they have a lot of problems with patterns, but because, you know, I have had my fair share of patterns that have an error in them, and it's nice if I can go to the spot where I bought it and find a correction sheet. Is there anything else we need to take a look at while we're here for Shop Online? Well, they have kits. And they have 15 pages of kits, so quite a few kits, and they are what you would expect price-wise. Yeah, actually, they have a good selection of prints. Some Christmas ones in there as well. So 15 pages of them. So yeah, if you're a kit person, I think you'll have a lot to choose from there. Anything else we should take a look at? Well, notions, patterns, books, yes. They have gifts, block in the month. Yeah, so good selection of things. Nicely designed website as well. Easy to maneuver, easy to get around in. Prices are reasonable. Shipping seems to be reasonable. And I said, I have been to the actual store, and the sales help there are excellent. And if you ever go to the actual store, they have a couple of rooms where they have things marked down. And I know something I just thought of that I didn't check, and that was their wide backs, and see what their selection is in those and price-wise, because I know you can often find wide backs on sale in one of their bargain rooms if you go to the actual store. So does that translate to the web page? Are they listed by name? Interesting. And they have 118. Oh, let's go there, because you know that lately I was looking for something bigger than that. $34.98. You know, I should have gone here to take a look when I was looking for a wide back that was wide enough for Stormy Sea. Didn't think about it. Should have done it, because those are not a bad price, and at 118 inches wide. That would have fit the bill for me. But nevertheless, it looks like they have a really good selection. Let's try Northcott. Yep. Yeah, so excellent selection for wide backs, and I found that when I was in their store as well. I have to remember this. I should be making notes and writing these things down, because I'm always on the lookout for a good variety of 108-inch wide back, and they've got it. So let's go back to their homepage and just summarize this. As I said, prices are fair, shipping is fair, great website, great selection. I don't know if there's anything negative I can really say about Ye Olde Quilt Shop. So I'm going to do something that I very seldom do. I'm giving them 10 out of 10. That's the Ye Olde Fabric Shop in Stratford, Ontario. Check it out. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this episode of The Idiot Quilter. You know about my plans for upcoming events, so stay tuned for all of that. And get on with those Christmas projects that you're working on. You'll be happy that you got them finished in time for Christmas, and I am sure whoever you've decided is going to receive it are going to be as happy, if not ecstatic, about having something made for them a custom, one-of-a-kind gift that you created. So have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving to the Americans as well, and let the festive season begin. Bye.